Hi. Okay, so today in class we were talking about reasons why people buy a home or advantages of buying a home and what that whole equity thing is. So let's do a little illustration of what we mean by equity plays an important part in deciding to buy a home as opposed to renting an apartment long term. So let's call this equity, home equity illustration. And so let's look at just a simple home for a market value or for a home cost of $100,000. So we'll call this the home cost or market value of the home. It's basically what the home is selling for at that particular point in time. And let's call this year one. So in year one, when we buy the home, we've got a cost for this house of $100,000 or a market value of $100,000. When we initially buy this home, as we discussed, you need to put a down payment or a deposit on the home. So we put a down payment up front on the home, and we're going to use that 20% point, 20% as our down payment. This is our initial equity value in the home. This is the value you have as a homeowner. Your value. Okay? And if we're trying to figure out how we're going to pay for the rest of it, if we're putting $20,000 down, then the rest we're going to get in the form of a loan or a mortgage. We're going to have here, this is going to be what we call the principal amount of the loan. The $80,000 is the principal amount of the loan. Okay? Now, clearly if we're borrowing money, we have to pay interest on that money. And we've got to repay that loan over a certain period of time. So, typically, mortgages are either for 15 or 30 years. We'll use in this example a 30-year mortgage or 30-year mortgage loan. And I'm abbreviating the word mortgage there. Okay. And let's say we're talking about a 3.57% interest rate because that's what the going interest rate is in today's market. Okay. So that's going to roughly equate out to a monthly payment of about $362 a month, okay, for the 30 years. So this is $362 per month for 30 years. Okay, and a portion of that $362, a portion is going to go towards principal. So basically repaying the loan, and a portion is going to go towards interest to the bank. That's going to be the amount of money that the bank is making on that loan each month. Okay, so a portion goes to interest and a portion goes to principal of that $362. So it gets broken up into two chunks. The principal goes towards repaying or reducing the amount that, so this deducts from the amount that you owe. You owe, okay, the amount reduces the amount of the loan that you owe, okay. So let's look, say, 10 years down the road. All of our data, year one, okay, that's what we start out with. 10 years down the road, what's this going to look like? So 10 years down the road, we're going to have paid all this money towards the principal and paid all this money towards the interest. So 10 years down the road, we're going to have, let's say, repaid $18,000 of our original loan of $80,000. So 10 years out, we've decreased the amount of our original loan by $18,000. So now what do we owe? Our loan balance 10 years down the road is $62,000. So now, hopefully, over this 10-year period of time, while we've been repaying this loan, hopefully something else has been happening. So really two things are happening over this 10-year period of time. Two things are happening over the 10 years. We've got the one thing we know, which is we're paying down the loan balance. And hopefully over the same period of time, the market value of our home is hopefully going up. Okay, this can go the other way. It can go down, but hopefully it's going up. And let's just say that over this 10-year period of time, our market value has been going up by 2%, increasing by 2% a year per year for 10 years. So from an equity standpoint, and one of the primary reasons why we look to buy a home is that if that's the case, then over that 10-year period of time, the market value of our home has gone from the original, what we purchased it at $100,000, to now, 10 years later, it's worth $122,000. So what does that mean to us from an equity standpoint? From an equity standpoint, if our loan 10 years out, so this is 10 years later, our equity calculation, if our loan is now down to, what did we say, $62,000? Our loan is $62,000. Then our equity in our home has gone up significantly. Our equity in our home is now $60,000. If anybody remembers, when we started, our equity value was the $20,000. Okay, we put down the original equity. The original equity was $20,000. So our equity has grown by $40,000. Increase in equity over the 10 years is $40,000 over 10 years. So obviously of this 40,000 in equity that we've grown, that's grown over 10 years, obviously 18,000 of it has come from us repaying our loan, okay? But the rest of it has come from the market value increase, the 100 to the 122,000. And obviously the longer time period that you go, hopefully that market value keeps going up. That's a benefit. And obviously you'll continue to repay your loan down. So therefore, if you were to ever sell your house, if you were to sell your house for this $122,000, you'd walk away, after you repaid the loan, you'd walk away with $60,000 in cash, which is, $40,000 more than you had put into the house originally. Now, if this market value keeps going up over time, obviously that's good. And also, if the percentage that the market value is increasing by, that's very good. Okay, and sometimes the market is really great and strong, and it keeps going up at a higher and higher pace. Obviously, though, if the market value is not going up, these numbers don't, this equity does not look as good. And you can also have situations where the market value does go down or decreases over time. If we had a situation where the market value of the home decreased by 2% per year for 10 years, we would have a situation where the market value now of the home was $82,000 instead of the $122,000. Your loan amount is now still going to be the same. That would still be the $62,000. But now your equity after 10 years is now, instead of the $60,000, your equity after 10 years is going to only be $20,000. Okay, and so that's pretty much where you were at the beginning. Okay, so this is really where you get your big bang for your buck, is if the market price of your home goes up. Okay, this is always a risk right here. This scenario is always a risk, but if you buy in a good area and you research your market before you purchase, which you should always do, then this is there's a good opportunity for you to have an increase in your equity over time while you own a home. Okay, and so that's just our home equity illustration for today, and hopefully that helps you to have a little better understanding of why you would want to purchase a home and hold on to that home for a good long time if you'd like living there. Okay, thanks a lot, folks, and I'll see you in class.